Dr. Billy, I love all of our sponsors, but this is one that I rely heavily on. We're proud to have today's episode sponsored by Victoria Coffee. Billy, hand on heart, I absolutely swear on the first one, the first coffee I could ever recall was Victoria as a label. That's how long they've been around. Since 58, I learnt when we were actually learning and learning with them. Now, the only disappointing thing is I didn't find them earlier. I didn't start drinking coffee until I was 30. But I cannot tackle a single day without a shot of coffee now. And it's the first thing I have. That is my moment.
Totally. There's a really beautiful, self kind of kindness part of it, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing that gets you going in the morning. So I absolutely rely on it. And they're our new sponsors.
And they're a wonderful family business that is genuinely helping us. So it is great that we get to sponsor support of a company, a family business like Victoria.
Yeah, and they've got like heaps of products. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting the family yet, but if they'd like to buy me a coffee, I'd gladly come and meet them. But if you're into ground coffee, if you're into beans, capsules, instant sachets, coffee bags, there's a format that works for all of you. So show some love to Victoria, an Australian family business helping fuel parents' conversations and pop culture parenting for a long, long time. Dr. Billy Garvey. People are going to learn some pretty special stuff in this episode. That is absolutely for sure. This is our second part episode on anger. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, we're about to listen to us go really deeply into some really powerful reflections, actually. People are being so generous. We've had so much come in around childhood experiences with anger, echoing in ways that has a lot of shame, parents trying really hard to do better, practical strategies around what we can do across the age, little kids, older kids, ourselves. I think that the shorts were kind of punchy and really good, but as always, the longs were the thing for me. And then end on a very beautiful first-time experience of PCP.
Yes, tremendously so. I don't want to ruin it because it is an absolutely brilliant little take from someone.
Yeah, but a beautiful, lighthearted thing off the end of some pretty heavy stuff. So we hope you enjoy it.
Yes, enjoy, guys.
Hi, I'm Billy, a developmental paediatrician.
And I'm Nick, a developing parent.
We're going to use scenes from iconic movies to talk about how we best support our kids.
This is pop culture parenting.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. I don't want to see anybody else either.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Just use your best judgment. We trust you.
Good evening, Dr. Billy Garvey. How are you?
I am great, as always.
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
I like this ensemble.
Really, thank you. This is my fourth of 5 podcasts I'm recording today.
Saving the best till last, some might argue.
Yes, well, best company. We'll see what we think about the content at the end of it. But it's great to be with you, mate.
Should I take over the advice?
Mate, yeah, that's the best gold comes from you. The more of you, the more likely it is to be a highlight.
It'll probably go, mate. Laughs, I think. Good. No dramas this end.
Anger. How do you feel about it?
I actually re-listened a second time to the episode. I thought it was fantastic. And I saw all the social feedback we were getting, which was really positive. It made me rethink a few things. And I remembered about the reflective practice on this one. My own personal reflections on my own anger and when I get angry. And I started to think about that a lot. Yeah. Which was lucky because I listened to it in the car where I seem to get the most angry.
Yeah, it is funny though, the car, isn't it? About just that space, of that kind of, false boundary from the rest of the world. Yeah, you kind of, So, a good one to think about though.
No, totally. Good one to, and just understanding where it comes from. So, understanding what's going on. Oftentimes, kids are at capacity and they sort of become angry was my reflection. Yeah, so it made me think a little bit nicer about my kid or kids in general.
Yeah. Such a good point. Yeah, that idea of it is just beyond capacity. Emotional load's been too high for the day. Safe environment, safe relationships explode. Yeah, and just how we guide them through. So This one, for a while, actually, has been one of the hardest ones of what doesn't make the cut. Because as we always talk about, it's like 1% of the questions make it through, less than that. So, yeah, we've had like hundreds and hundreds of like questions and reflections and longs and everything that have come through, and some really powerful stuff. Like we're going to talk about some pretty heavy experiences that parents are experiencing, once again, some emotional professional input. But yeah, I just want to make sure that I always acknowledge, like, obviously everything gets read, but just that it informs everything we do. And we're also going to explore, for people who don't know, we have a Patreon account, Patreon community, and we're looking at building that out. And one thing that I thought would be cool, I haven't told you about this, is that we address some of the stuff we haven't looked at. So me, don't worry, I'm not dragging you into
So Nick, AMA every night,
so
at bedtime, live.
Just going to follow you around. But yeah, so just kind of going into some of the stuff that we haven't been able to share just because it's, so much stuff comes through. So hardest bit about the whole pod is the stuff that doesn't make it, that should make it, because it's like really meaningful. And I just know how much effort everyone goes to write in and share their experience. And
you can tell that from the ones that get through. You know what I mean? Like even today when I was reading them, it would have been really hard. There's a couple in there. Don't want to think about them too much because they're quite emotional. They make me quite emotional. I was like, that would have been tough to write. And that was an amazing share. In all of them, reflection, advice, questions, all that stuff. Yeah.
So we should get into it, but in case for some reason this is your first time, this is a part 2 reflection. So this is one where we are exploring what's come through off the back of the first episode.
Which was Lethal Weapon and Anger, 136 episode?
So, yes.
Episode 136 in the catalogue.
Yeah, so good to listen to that first. And then this one is about going deeper, more practical, more complex. And so what we're going to go through is some polls, some reflections about people, they listened to the first one and what it brought up in them, reflecting on their childhood, their parenting, their goals, their aspirations, their fears. Then we're going to do some short questions, some rapid fire, and then some longs. And my favourite are the longs. And there's some beautiful, pretty powerful like advice and then some reflections to end on too that I think complement each other beautifully.
We go full circle.
Full circle.
The full thing. But Billy, we do often we always start with the polls, which we ask via Instagram. So if you're not following us, you can't answer those polls, Billy.
No.
So you need to get over there and follow us.
In the Monday evening before it drops. So.
Yep. Billy, first question on the poll was, did you grow up around too much unhealthy anger? 74% of people said yes.
I'm guessing you were a no.
I was a no.
I was a yes. But also some people wrote in that they were like, I never saw anger, like in an unhealthy way. They were like, it was just being suppressed.
I mean, I didn't grow up in...
No, but not
like
because...
twins, Arnie and twins on a utopic island.
Really?
But it was...
You remind me of him, so I'm surprised.
Not like habitual, consistent sort of... That makes sense. I don't know, poor wording, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's about that idea of like, was it dysfunctional? So did you see healthy emotional expressions or not?
Good distinction.
And there's obviously both ways. There's like too much anger that was poorly controlled, but also buried and suppressed and hidden is not great either, because then kids don't know that it's okay for them.
Billy, do you ever get so angry now you feel like you could explode? 77% of people said yes.
Yeah, it was even more. I feel like you're a no for that too.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm definitely a yes.
I get seething, but I'm never going to like explode.
Lose control?
Don't think so, no. Don't think I'd lose control.
Yeah.
But that's what I want control.
Yeah. I mean, I want control too, but I just, I get beyond my capacity fairly frequently, and I'll just not have any ability to reflect, to step back, to pause, to hold space, and I just keep going and just white knuckle it through.
Yes, I'm sure we'll get to more of that. I'm not skipping over what you're sharing, but we did cover a bit of it in the first episode.
Yep.
Hey, Billy, we asked people, do you feel like you have the skills to help a child process anger? 30% of people said yes. I said yes.
Great.
I didn't say
Can't wait
all
to hear all your
anger.
answers to these questions.
I said I think
We've
I
made it.
maybe I didn't say yes, but I often, because I always answer, but I'm like, I think yes, not all anger. Like sometimes it's way beyond you.
Yeah, but no,
Like I had
you
that today.
feel-
Today was way beyond me. I got sick kids. One was sick, and I just went poorly into the situation. It was terrible.
Okay.
So I couldn't solve that. I probably should have avoided starting it, but
Why are you trying to solve?
yeah. Well,
Sorry.
I had a reason. There's always a reason. It's not an excuse. We needed some quiet in the house. People were doing meetings. Got 2 sick kids at home. 2 people worked from home. Someone had lost it. I lost it. Then, yeah, thank God Grandma was there. It was bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad. Anyway,
Okay.
so we got there.
Yeah.
Made it here.
Well done.
And here we are.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the gold standard, no.
No, it should be. It should be being honest and open about it and being like, this was the reason that it didn't go well. It wasn't the kid's fault.
No, I came into it so badly. But I was trying to get arrest some control.
Yeah, often it's a lack of control that leads to anger, and sometimes we unintentionally use it to try and regain it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
This is not a healthy way to gain control, is it?
No, it's not. And I know that, but I do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But it's about,
And
we're
then
not
I
trying to
cuddle.
be perfect, we're trying to be better.
Yeah. There's a fair gap between cuddles, but anyway, got there. Billy, reflections.
Is it me or you?
Well, it's you first. I've got paper.
I know, you've always been a traditional man like that.
Well, I had some advice from someone at some stage, but potentially going with the paper is the best way to do it. Took the notes, wrote them down. I actually handwrote all these.
It's about 50,000 words. Maybe your work needs to look at how well you're doing in your day job.
This is how much Billy has on and how much he does. I said to him, I printed out my notes and I said, I looked through, I just brushed through and went, oh, I must have printed 2 copies. Feeding him, it's 1.
I didn't have
process
time
a
to
lot.
write you a
Short notes, I wrote you a long one. Yeah.
All right. Some really beautiful stuff in this, just to prepare the listener. Some heavy stuff too. Hi, lads. Hope you 2 beautiful gingers are keeping well. I'm emailing you from Cork, Ireland.
Cock.
All my brethren. I wanted to message him for a while, and this app has really struck a chord with me and my parenting journey. I have a feeling this might get heavy and long, so I'm sorry in advance. I'm a 32-year-old dad of a 7-month-old identical twin girls. They mean the absolute world to me and my wife, and I live for those smiles when I get through the door after work each day. Getting to this point hasn't been all plain sailing. At 16 weeks gestation, our girls were diagnosed with twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. We didn't know week on week if they would find 1 heartbeat, never mind 2. My wife was put on rest and given a sick certificate for work. We started weekly scans, and it was so hard not being there each week with her due to work. I'd spend each scan day waiting for a call to tell me they were okay. At 29 weeks, the diagnosis changed and the girls now had been diagnosed with selective intrauterine growth restriction. The scans and traces were ramped up to 3 times a week, and it became a case that if there were any concerns, mum and babies would be rushed in for an emergency C-section. Despite all the odds being stacked against them, they made it to our initial planned C-section date. Of course, it couldn't be plain sailing on the day though. My wife had 2 failed epidurals and inevitably had to go under GA, general anaesthetic. Unfortunately, I couldn't be in the room and was left waiting outside to hear the cries, hoping they were safe. After it all, they were here and we were so excited to be parents. After a few weeks of not knowing what the hell we were doing with 1 baby, never mind 2, I started to get very easily dysregulated, and this ultimately ended with me having spontaneous fits of rage. For a bit of context, growing up, my mum would have these fits for terrifying rage when things weren't going as she expected. I didn't understand what she was telling me, or sometimes at the smallest inconvenience. These rages would result in childlike tantrums that would involve her screaming and lashing out at me and herself physically and verbally. My wife and I have done a lot of work over the past few years to help unfold our past, figure out how we wanted to parent and what legacy we wanted to leave behind in our daughters. But here I was, at a time that was meant to be magical, being a terrifying childlike man thing. I felt like my mum all those years ago. I would explode with this intense furnace like frustration and want to hurt the things and self-harm in the moment. I self-harmed, squeezing dummies in my hand until it hurt, biting deep into my shoulder until it felt like a hot poker had been set on my skin. Anything to ease the frustration. I never harmed our girls, but I had to put my daughters down on several occasions because I was scared of what I would do if I didn't step out. It blinded me and took over like it was wearing me. I was so full of self-hatred and shame. My wife at a time when she was supposed to be recovering was scared of leaving me alone in case this would happen when I was solo. In all other aspects, things were going good. I was bonding with the girls and trying to be there for my wife whilst being back at work. It was worse at night. I'd start to feel anxious before bed in case it didn't go as planned and in case I lashed out. It was a horrible time and I'm not sure I'll ever forgive myself for not letting it just be magic. I worked so hard before the kids arrived to be better and I still work and want to work at it every day for the rest of my life. Things today are so much better. I feel like I'm more myself and able to catch the frustration or at least be aware of when I'm in a situation that might cause it and breathe and remember I'm their dad. I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm here to give them love and safety. This change didn't come overnight and a few things have happened to allow it. Things got easier. We kept to routines. I tried to calm and tap out when I felt it got too much. Yes, my wife's amazing. And the girls got more sleep and we all got more sleep. It's amazing the positive change that can happen in a person who gets the sleep they need. I've also recently been diagnosed with autism and ADHD. Not a huge shock to everyone around me with my constant unsettledness and rigid thinking, but the understanding of how my system works and how dysregulation can happen so quickly has allowed me to prepare mentally and build up my mental armour. I haven't started medication yet, but the understanding alone has made such a difference. And lastly, your podcast. It's changed mine, my wife's and my daughter's life for the better. This place and community you've created is phenomenal. Two men that want to be amazing parents and want to learn from their past and others and do better every day for their kids is what this generation of dads needs. I don't have a lot of friends and few of that are parents. I don't know if any of the dads I know even care too much about their own mental health, never mind their kids. I've been able to use the pod like I'm out for a coffee with two of my friends, listening to them chat about being parents. A bit sad, I know. I use the questions Billy gives Nick in a way to test myself, saying answers out loud in the car. If anything, this podcast has given me a light at the end of the tunnel. It has meant that these two perfect little girls will grow up with a dad who doesn't lash out, who can be present and have the capacity to sit with them and allow them to learn how to feel and understand the emotions they have. For them both to see positives in all their attributes, for them to grow to be mothers, if that's what they want, who wouldn't think twice about lashing out verbally or physically with their kids. I know I have a lot of work to do on myself and a lot more is coming down the road as they get older, but I'm confident that their future will be brighter because I had this amazing resource. Thanks for everything you do. I just want to say quickly, it's not sad. It's beautiful. It's courageous. It's strong. It's all of those things. And I know you agree. It's a privilege to be part of it with you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that person's obviously privileged to be part of it with you as well.
I just want to float an idea with you.
Give it to me.
Ireland.
Let's do it, mate. I'm
Seriously,
long overdue.
of all, I've never been. I'm pretty sure I look quite Irish.
You do. Yeah, very good looking.
Except I've got a lot of freckles. I think I would, if I think Ireland.
Ireland would be amazing.
Except a nation full of people that might be funner than us, that would be an issue, wouldn't it?
Well, mate, you can come under my wing. Yeah, for all the Irish people over there, my family's from Mallinhead in Donegal. So, yeah, I've got family scattered all over Ireland that I'm long overdue. I haven't been there since I spread my mum's ashes a long time ago.
Because she is Irish.
Yeah, she came over here on a boat.
Yep. Well, I'm a lot more removed, but Thurles is where we're from. So
Let's do it. Dublin.
Oh, could you imagine? But Cork.
Yeah, Cork would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favourite footy players from Cork. Hey, Billy, reflection number 2. Hi. I just wanted to email to say thank you for the podcast. I started listening a few years ago when my wife was pregnant with our first child, as I wasn't that confident around kids. In a way, I never expected the podcast to help change the direction of my life. In a way, I never expected the podcast to help change the direction of my life. I left a corporate career to work with some of the most vulnerable and challenging young people in custody. It's work that can be confronting, but with a great sense of purpose. So much of the way I approach these kids has been influenced by what I've learned from your podcast. Listening to the episode on anger made me think about lessons I've learned with kids who have had anger cause so much destruction in their lives. I think anger is an emotion that all of us instinctively move away from. When someone expresses it, it's easy to withdraw, shut down, or abandon them. Of course, it's okay to leave if the situation isn't safe. But what matters most is coming back. Returning sends a message that the relationship can survive hard moments. Sadly, most of the young people I work with only learn this when they are locked up. They have spent their childhood learning that people, such as family, friends, schools and clinicians, will support them when they express emotions like sadness or fear, but not anger. By the time they arrive in custody, it's often too late. The pattern of anger, escalating into violence, has already become deeply ingrained. Thank you again for everything you do. Your podcast has made me a better dad, and unexpectedly, it's helped me become a better person too.
Amazing. Hi, Nick and Billy. Well, strap yourself in, lads, because I'm smelling a 2-part reflection. Anger. A topical topic in my household that has got me to breaking point on a couple of occasions. I'll try to walk you through a timeline to paint the picture of why I think this emotion can be so insidious when it's not explicitly taught to children. My first parenting memory of anger was when I was trying to feed my oldest son solids. He was born 3 weeks early, weighed 2.5 kilos, was a floppy baby, had genetic testing because his tone was so low, and eventually got put into an MDT, multidisciplinary clinic, with a dietitian, ped and OT, and each session sent me spiralling. When he started solids, we were told by a dietitian to add oil to all his meals so he'd gain weight. I had to keep a food diary of exactly what I was putting in his food. The kids and I are mostly vegan, which is why I had to document exactly what I put in his food so that we could be assured he was getting all his nutrients, which was because I am a details person. So when my son, like every other baby on the planet, started to throw his food off his high chair and turn his face away from eating, it triggered such anxiety in me that I would be flooded with anger and become dysregulated. He needed to put on weight and I couldn't cope with the feeling of judgment if he didn't. My gorgeous little baby had no idea why I was getting so angry. My husband did the same because the pressure was felt by both of us. As the years went on, I started consuming information about parenting and specifically teaching emotional regulation, both for myself and my kids, and I could see the positive impact my changes were having. We were lucky enough to add another 2 babies to our family, and despite my best efforts, my yelling continued at a level I was not happy with, and my husband's anger also intensified. We would have many chats about how we both wanting the yelling to stop. We would talk about our shared values being centered on having a harmonious and happy family. I was also very committed to teaching my children about emotions, and the When I'm Feeling Angry book got read so much my boys and I knew the words off by heart. Fast forward to my middle child being in kindy. It's always the middle child. And we got feedback that in many ways we knew would come at some point. His emotional regulation was not age appropriate, and socially he was having big difficulties. It was suggested we see a paediatrician, and the years I'd spent trying my best to work out to the beat of his drum fell into place when the paediatrician said to me, "He has ADHD." Little did I know that this was the start of uncovering the tip of a big shitberg. Trialling medication which took 18 months to get right and has been absolutely life-changing now that it is right. Also realising the ADHD has been doing a masterful job of masking his autism. Throughout this time, I became so dysregulated because despite all my efforts There was a lot of anger in our household, and I'm so ashamed to say that I've acted in ways I never knew that I could or would, mostly during arguments with my husband. And despite doing the repairs with my kids, I felt like I was unforgivably letting them down. Thankfully, I found Billy not long after my son's diagnosis, and I'd written him before and said, "You both saved my marriage, my sanity, and my family from this awful loop we're in." Undoubtedly, unfortunately, it hasn't all been sunshines and rainbows since discovering your pod. On this journey, my husband and I have come to realise he most likely has ADHD, and he's received a diagnosis earlier this year. Our family psychologist thinks he's autistic as well, which has made a few more pieces of the puzzle fall into place. The seeking of his ADHD diagnosis was born out of desperation. I've watched my fun-loving, caring husband slowly slide into a man I didn't recognise. So volatile, so quick to anger, the kids were scared of him, yet would have the most wonderful time with him. Billy, your comment around anger being born of feelings of fear, safety, acceptance had me doing a combination of aha facials and agreeing head nods whilst driving to work. My husband's dad was a very vacant father. His dad was a violent alcoholic, and so in comparison he'd been a great father and I believe tried his best. So my husband strives to be the opposite. Solo camping trips with the kids, beach trips, playground adventures, you name it, he does it single-handedly and the kids have a ball with him. But this year the anger became too big to ignore. No one talks about how the diagnosis of adult ADHD can be accompanied by a heavy grieving process. I was naive to think that the diagnosis and medication would see my husband get back on track, but it did the absolute opposite. We had the discussions not long ago that I could no longer expose the kids to receiving end of his anger, and he agreed. He's a beautiful soul. I absolutely did not want our family to dissolve, but I couldn't see more solutions. I was so burnt out from the solutions finding and implementing. But this conversation with my husband ignited the spark of change, and he's been working hard on learning emotional regulation and the gamut of personal work that goes behind that. When I first started listening to you, I remember you saying that parenting shouldn't feel hard. And I absolutely yearned for it not to feel hard. I still do. To me, it felt so hard that some days I doubted my ability to be a mother and questioned whether I should have had children. I don't have those feelings anymore, mostly because my beautiful kids tell me every day that I'm the best mummy. So much of my energy is put into minimising the trickiness of my family. Clothes are laid out the night before, shoes and socks at the door, bags packed with everything they need for school, lunch is done the night prior, dinner's cooked in advance and often dished out, so we can heat and serve, PJs laid out ready. And despite this, 95% of the time our family time is hard. Refereeing, fighting, waiting for medication to kick in, managing PDA, wiping away my kids' tears before school drop-off. I've tried to minimise pressure points and I've done a lot of work on recognising my triggers and how to regulate. I try my absolute hardest to not get angry because I feel huge responsibility to be the calm influence in the household. It really hit home when you said some people feel like they can't express their anger because their partner is often angry. This is me. I feel so much of that in my family's fight-flight system is on red alert that I need to be the one that puts the blanket on it. And when all of my efforts seem to be making no improvement or that things are getting worse, I bottom out. I was not allowed to express anger as a child or as an adult daughter. I'm slowly allowing myself to feel angry, to label it, and to help myself re-regulate. I've always allowed my kids to be angry even if I have to struggle to deal with it. I've labelled their emotions from a very young age. I've learned to co-regulate with them and taught them, once they're calm, ways to manage their emotions. I tell them I love them no matter what. I've cried my biggest tears over the thoughts that my kids are going to have traumatic memories of their childhood. I never felt scared of my dad growing up. My parents rarely ever raised their voice at me, and I'm so heartbroken that my kids can't say the same. I worry about maladaptive attachment in the future intimate relationships. When our family psychologist asked me, has my husband always been like this? He most certainly is not. It seems to me as the more load, demand and pressure has come into our life, his ability to cope has diminished. In your part 1, you mentioned that it's important that kids see anger and see you work through anger, which I agree with. My question to you, is there an expression of anger that is not appropriate for the kids to see? And like what you did for the neurodiversity resource, can you put together a list of resources of parents to help them and themselves and their kids manage anger? I'm sorry this has turned into an essay. It's been cathartic putting the words, and just knowing that you'll read this is so comforting. I'm tearing up as I write this. You and Nick make me feel heard and understood every single episode that you do. I can't put into words how much you've helped me individually, helped my family, and helped my relationship with my husband and I have such deep gratitude for you both and your families. You're my North Stars. Much love to you both. We'll cover the questions in that later, but just, yeah.
Lovely. Hi, Nick and Billy. I recently found your podcast after finding it looking for podcasts on neurodivergent kids. I listened to all your PCP guides and have been hooked ever since. The insights and understanding you both have towards children in all forms is refreshing and makes families like ours feel less alone. We have 2 daughters, a 10-year-old with ASD level 2 with a PDA profile and a 13-year-old with anxiety. The recent episode on anger hit close to home. As anyone with PDA knows, anger is an emotion often shown by our children. I hadn't decided if I was going to write on the topic until today, when my daughter had a massive anger meltdown in a store today, looking for costumes for book week. She's very dopamine driven, and we avoid stores for this reason, as it will often end in anger and or tears, normally mine, lol. When we went to purchase the goods, we were met with a plethora of squishy sensory toys. The one that she decided had to be hers. After the no answer, as we own more than our fair share, punches were thrown at me, screaming and begging, and definitely a few unimpressed looks from other patrons. The car ride home was met with more crying and eventually the backstory as to why she needed the squishy. If she had the squishy, she would have people to talk to at school, people that would want to be her friend, as she had the new squishy. She has little to no friends, and the one friend she had finally made this term was now calling her annoying, and she doesn't want to be friends anymore. She had been sent out of class in the cold for 20 minutes to reflect on her behaviours in class, which was her interrupting with her drink bottle making noises, and then went into the freeze mode as she couldn't do her schoolwork. The principal was called. She hasn't been invited to any birthday parties in a long time, and she hates feeling like she doesn't fit in. The story she told me broke my heart. Soon forgot about the angry outbursts and cried with her. The point of my story is this: neurodivergent kids are always going to find anger a hard emotion to tame. They work so hard every day trying to fit in, trying not to get in trouble, trying to read people, and not much energy is left when things don't go to plan. My daughter is working on anger and emotional awareness with some introception work with an OT, but this is going to take a long time. And still, it won't change how she's treated in school and how she spends her energy trying to be normal. Hardest part is, she's such a beautiful, caring child that once loved school, that has lost her spark and now refuses school. I wish that our community and schools could support kids like her with more understanding, and maybe then the emotional outbursts and anger would be less. Thanks for reading this and all that you offer families. It's truly so appreciated.
Right on, mate. Hello, Nick and Billy. I'm so grateful for the latest episode on anger, and the way it reframed anger for me has been incredibly transformative. I'm definitely the kind of person who struggles to express anger, and have thought it my responsibility as a parent to suppress my anger around my son. This has been particularly so in relation to his dad, who I separated from 6 years ago when he was born, and have always felt completely let down by and often extremely angry towards. The strong messaging I received early on as a co-parent was that you never express hostility towards the other parent in front of your child. I interpreted this as I shouldn't show anger or talk about the anger I feel towards my son's dad in front of him, and though everything I have always upheld that and felt like a real hero. However, Billy talked about how when we don't show our children our emotional experiences, we can leave them feeling really alone in theirs. I thought about this a lot in relation to my son and his dad. We're currently in an awful situation where his dad has gone down a path that means he can no longer safely care for a child. The other day I had to tell my son that he couldn't see his dad. He became so upset and then he became angry at me because I was the one who decided it was no longer safe. In the past I wouldn't have done this, but while he was becoming angry towards me, I got down at his level and looked in his eyes and said, I'm angry too. I'm angry that you can't see your dad, and I'm angry that I can't tell you when you'll be able to again. I'm so angry this is happening to you. It's not fair. It's not your fault. He knew that I meant it because it came from such an honest place in me, and he looked at me and almost laughed with relief. I've never felt more connected to him in one of the worst situations we've ever been in, and I wouldn't have allowed myself to do that without you guys. So thank you. The work you do is changing lives. Sorry, that's a lot of the heavy stuff. There's still heavy stuff coming. This is now shorts.
This is now the shorts. Who's the first one for? Doesn't say you guys. Hang on. Is that?
It's for both of us. They're all for both of us, okay? You don't get to pick and choose.
Question 1. Why haven't we seen you in a buddy cop Hollywood blockbuster yet?
It's a good question. I mean, we're pretty busy.
Pretty busy.
That's the only rate limiting step.
It's not a height, age. What is it? What's the biggest limiting factor to us?
Well, I'd be the unhinged, emotionally all over the place one, and you'd be the one. I'm getting too old.
I feel like I'd be. Isn't there one that's like someone's doing method acting? Isn't like Michael J. Fox out there trying to learn method acting off not Modine, off one of those guys? I'd be like, yeah, let's do this.
There's just so many classics though. So many classics. Yeah.
I do like Rush Hour, underrated.
I love Rush Hour.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I love Jackie.
Yeah. Casino when he melts down on the table.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie hasn't been black since the Commodores. He's trying to make a scene. It's like, those movies are amazing. But I don't know. Look, we're pretty busy. But if an offer comes, if an offer comes for us both to start,
take it.
we'll take it. I mean, we love PCP, but we'll miss you.
This is the stepping stone. Then
it's a transition we were born to make.
Fiery career, wouldn't it?
Would be amazing. Hollywood.
I'd love
I think
an
Hollywood's ready
opportunity.
for us.
I don't think it is. I think I'd go through an art out phase pretty quick. Hey, Billy, question 2. When does postpartum rage ease?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one that I think it's important not to normalise just how full on that newborn period can be and how much anger can happen. And a big part of it is like what I was expecting and what society told me it was going to be like. And I was going to know straight away and all that stuff. But there was also like, it is so demanding. Like, this sleep deprivation, what it asks of a woman, from sleep physiologically, cognitively, the change in the dynamic and everything. And so one of the most important things that we do in clinic is about just how do we build the support that's around this bub, this mum, this family. Sleep is one of the biggest ones. Trying to find a way to still get sleep, and there's a direct correlation with like not getting enough sleep and postpartum rage. And when it persists,
different to
postpartum depression,
yes.
postnatal depression, yes, definitely. But remembering all forms of depression can present with agitation and anger.
Got it.
So it actually might be. It might be postnatal depression, and the signs are intrusive thoughts, really bad thoughts around harm, overwhelming, not enjoying the baby. Things are not going to get better. I'm not positive. It's persisting or getting worse. If any of that sounds familiar, then it's about connecting with a general practitioner, maternal child health nurse, family physician. Like soon, we do this in clinic. We see unsettled babies, but whatever community you're in, that is not a normal experience that you should hold on your own. As a mum, as a family, as a community, lean in on the professional support that's around.
Yep. Question 3, is high testosterone linked with increased anger? Is that a thing?
It's a really interesting thing. The simplest answer is just because you have high testosterone doesn't mean you'll be angry. So it's not a good excuse. It's not like, oh yeah, it's just high testosterone, if that makes sense. Without getting too much in the weeds, there's an association between cortisol and stress and testosterone, and especially variability in cortisol. So I'm going through cortisol, stress hormone, testosterone's high. There's also an impulsivity component of emotional regulation that can be linked to boys who obviously have higher testosterone. But the most important bit of that question is, which I think is where the question came from, is don't just assume that it's because of testosterone that a boy or a man or a teenage boy or whatever is angry all the time.
Got it.
It's not a passing reason.
No. Testosterone, eh? Have I got any left? When does it?
You're going there.
I look at training at all these young guys and they're so fit and strong. I'm like, you doing weights? They're like, no, I'm just turning 21. I'm like, they're just getting stronger.
Mate, I actually think you're looking very strong. And
I think I'm looking a lot bigger. There's a difference.
You're looking great.
No, stop it.
Yeah, you're looking very testosterone-y.
Stop it. Go on. You knew I was going to ask about testosterone, didn't you? Hey, Billy, how should I react to my toddler getting angry, upset about things that seem irrational to me? Example, getting angry about the fact that I peeled the banana for her after she asked me to peel it. Yes, that. The sentence doesn't even make sense.
I like how you floated into your own experience.
I felt my body tensed reading that one. Or let me speak down the barrel of this person. What about when you cut the toast the wrong way that you've been cutting for 8 weeks straight? You did triangles instead of squares. That one.
What's the answer? What do you do?
How should I react
That's not how I want
to my toddler? Well, peel another one if you've got it or not. But if you don't, that's when we've had this before. It was someone
Why do you peel another one? Why don't you go bad luck?
Because you're. Hold on. I don't know the actual reason, but I would just peel another one because of years of experience.
Oh, mate.
That's all. And I know I'd go, I'd be like, banana costs 90 cents, but that's all right. Here you go. Here's another one.
Yeah, definitely. You're great with kids and food. Just off the listeners might be interested to hear that you can get a kid to eat that won't eat with anyone else by the games you play and everything.
Well, yep.
So, yes, I think you're right. And my developmental reasoning of that is that it is something you can respond to in a positive way where they succeed in expressing that emotion and doing that, and you connected them. That is not the moment to be like bad luck, especially in a toddler.
Yeah.
That's not, you peeled it, just eat it.
Challenge you. Is it teaching them that you're soft or like you're a pushover?
No, great question. What's the first thing that we do before we correct anything?
Connect. Connection.
So it's a really rich opportunity to connect with a kid.
So take the opportunity, justify it to yourself as I'm going to prioritise connection here.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for me to help them understand emotional expression is heard in this house and responded to. Now, it doesn't mean...
I can live with that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it also doesn't mean you get whatever you want just because you crack it about it.
Sure doesn't.
But in a toddler, this is a really rich opportunity for, heard you, validate it, guide you, but then they escalate unreasonably and you give the second one, you cut it the way they want now and all that stuff. That's when you go, hey, and that's when you decide. But the most important thing in supporting emotional regulation, including anger, is consistency.
Yeah. Yeah, completely.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's,
predictable.
yeah, the biggest thing we
So
stuff up
predictable
is
love,
not being
yep.
consistent.
Yep.
Which
Yeah,
is like
because
some
we are strung
mornings,
out
yeah.
and we don't have another banana
Yeah.
and we've got to get to school and I can't be stuffed dealing with this.
Yeah, which is also okay, but doesn't go great in terms of developing a skill.
Really? Horribly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for listeners, I'm still battling with the car transitions. I was like,
I don't know.
they're taking it in turns. My kids are taking it in turns on everything. I swear to God, there's a hidden roster
Name
of
it.
who wakes up through the night.
Name a transition and I'm struggling with it, mate. Car. Name one. Pajamas? Nah, nightmare. Uniform? Terrible. Don't start me on baths. Hey, Billy, question 5.
I remember years ago, someone asked a question about brushing teeth. And you were like, I've got an easy answer to that.
Still don't. Tell you what, Mum's not home for more than 2 or 3 days. It's an issue, but...
Do you go and pretend that it's been you?
Hey,
Just
question
move it
5.
around and draw it.
Question 5. Shh. We'll ruin any sponsors for toothpaste. Shh. Hey, Billy, question 5. I saw a therapist who said my attachment style will never change. Is that true?
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
What's an attachment style?
So attachment style is secure or insecure.
Secure
It's
attachment.
how-
Secure attachment.
Yeah. It's I'm valued in the world. I'm seen, connected to. I'm loved and I deserve that love. Temperament never changes.
Yeah, you're set with temperament.
Set. This is me, baby.
This is all of me. The whole thing.
Believe me, I've tried to scrub it off.
Explain a little bit, real short, on temperament. I just
So
think it's really
temperament is how
interesting.
sensitive you are to your environment and how you express that sensitivity.
So
I'll have a big response to something that the other person might be like, that wasn't a big deal. But I also have a greater ability to enjoy my environment and relationships because of that.
yeah.
So highs and lows.
Yep.
Greater
this is different to
variability.
anger because, or this can cause anger being
Yeah,
sensitive.
my temperament means that I'm more prone to anger.
Yep.
But it also means that I can connect with someone who is sensitive, which I think will come up.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, but whereas attachment is never set. And the best example of it for anyone is like, I don't know if that's true. Think about a bad breakup or losing a parent or something like that. You become insecure about your relationships.
Right.
So yeah, and insecure avoidant, insecure anxious. Like people don't help. I don't connect with them when I'm struggling. I don't help seek, or I'm really anxious about losing people in my life in an unhealthy way that's insecure.
Got it.
So yeah, I mean, we did Heat, which are amazing apps to go back and go deeply in that. But yeah, and I never like saying, maybe find another therapist, but that may be fun.
Can I just say, because I like saying this, Heat 2 has been greenlit. Have you heard?
Oh yeah, sorry, the movie. I thought you were talking about the podcast.
No,
Yeah.
I've read the book.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'd be a great Val Kilmer character for that movie.
He's the key. Right. Anyway, no spoilers.
Yeah. Amazing.
Funny that I've read a book for us or a film. Hey, Billy, question 6. Are terms such as white line fever often covering up underlying issues with anger?
Dr. Nick.
Well, prior to this episode, I might not have thought so, but yes, I think it is. But why do we get white line fever?
Why? Why does there?
Because the testosterone.
Athlete.
Well, I'm thinking like my own experience, right? My own experience.
With white line fever.
No. Why does competition, let's say we play footy, whatever. We go out there, all of a sudden it's just, you get that white line fever, you go a little bit crazier. Is it just like everyone's competing in that really small window to win and that's what causes it?
God, you've got such a beautiful view of the world. I didn't take white line fever as that. I took it as like unhealthy behaviour and anger coming out as aggression and hostility and violence. And like I took it as that. Now you're the one that actually follows white line fever.
You mean
As
like
in I crossed
sporting
the line.
field though?
Yeah.
I'm talking about sporting field. So the white line is the white chalk line in my mind.
Totally. Yeah, definitely. But I thought it was like they cross that line, they become someone else who's quite aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if that form of it is what the person's asking about, and the question being, are terms such as white line fever often covering up underlying issues with anger?
Yeah, I
Do you
would have
think that?
I would have thought so.
Yeah, I think they are too. I think that it's this cultural excuse that gives a pass to like, I just got white line fever.
Oh, they're just
I just didn't
competitive.
realise I was punching him.
Yeah,
Like,
gotcha.
think about that in the context of AFL.
Yep, I got it.
You know, there's, I don't want to say a name, but, you know, famous moments on the field of like people just punching someone in the face or headbutting someone.
Yep.
And this excuse of white line fever when actually it's an immaturity and emotional development of
Mismanaged
I couldn't actually
anger.
handle that I was feeling afraid or
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and that's what comes up.
or insecure or
Yep.
you know, and this is the
Threat.
only way I can handle it was lash out.
Yep.
So yeah, I think so.
Okay. Hey, Billy, as a teacher, I'm angry, masking frustration for feeling powerless to help. I really tried.
Yeah,
Wow.
I included that one because I think it is so important that we recognise and validate that so many of the teachers are trying really hard and are angry because it's getting worse for them, for the kids they support, for the families in their community and those things. And it's really important that we role model on this podcast. You are valid in being angry about that, about what's happening professionally, how this is impacting your personal life. Teachers are leaving the profession in droves. Because of the lack of support, what's happening in the community, the kids, they're being left to hold it all of that stuff. And it would be understandable for those people who shouldn't feel the responsibility if you can't try anymore. That's understandable. Like where you do so much stuff in this space and want to do more. But that is a very valid reason to be angry. I get angry about that too.
Cool. Hey, Billy, last short.
Not sure.
Managing grandparents' anger while trying to parent differently than you were.
What do you think about that? I mean, you don't have this, but
No. I think this is that classic tactic of, are you, don't nod yet, I haven't said anything. Is this the classic tactic of like, sort of like, are you enjoying your time playing with little Jimmy?
yeah, great.
Because it doesn't look like sometimes you're having the most fun and they love you. And what I think little Jimmy needs is probably like, you know, you teach them that thing you like to do on carpentry in the shed. That'd be a great place for you to start because I think they're interested. I think you're good at that. And maybe that's where you two can connect. Something like that. I've jumped a bunch of steps there. Is that
Beautiful. I think that was a great.
Or send them a couple of episodes of the podcast. It's why it's useful.
Definitely.
Like, listen to this episode.
strength-based.
Because little Jimmy, as you know, Dad is struggling with risk taking, or little Jimmy doesn't like doing this, and you might just get a little bit more of an insight into him, and that will help you when you connect with him. But you're so important to him, so we want you to be doing really well. And I reckon if you just started with a half an hour at the pool, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, it's great, beautiful, and it is an interesting thing that like those relationships and strengthening them, but also being giving ourselves a bit of grace that. You know, that generation did not grow up with so much pressure on how they parent, have so much noise in it.
We have more pressure.
Way more pressure in parenting.
Yeah.
There's so much like, do you know the impact this is going to have? Like people are worried about attachment and all this stuff. And then, and also the, I think this romanticization, which is a strategy of coping with stuff of like, I was great. I was always present. You know, I did it perfectly. And look, you turned out so well because I was stern, because I was strict. And the other thing that I said in a talk recently, which got a few laughs, hopefully we'll get a laugh out of this. If our parents had iPads, they would have used them.
100%.
This righteousness, it's those bloody screens.
A mobile
bloody
TV set to a restaurant. I reckon you would have let it happen.
Yeah, totally. So I feel like a little bit less shame would be healthy in that space. Anyway, longs, there's 7.
Clear the throat. Here we go. Now, thinking if you're a first-time listener, Billy gave me plenty of time to read the questions today, but it still
Just right.
doesn't happen. I'm not the perfect reader, but here we go. Hi, doctors. Strong start. Just wanted to firstly say thanks to you both and your families for how much love and care you put into the community. We're all more appreciative than you'll ever know. My question refers to my child's understanding of anger and her seemingly feeling avoidant of this feeling. For context, my daughter, 6, has her long-awaited ASD assessment next week. She has some difficulty understanding emotions and has been seeing a wonderful OT for over a year to help with this, among other things. From a young age, my daughter has always escalated when we try to name her anger. I had learned name it to tame it and tried this approach with phrases like, that seems like you would be very frustrated. That seems like you would be very frustrated and you're feeling mad. Or, it's okay to be angry. But I always am met with yelling back, I'm not angry. My daughter would struggle with the long meltdowns, and we found ourselves prolonging her big feelings with this approach. I've tried talking to her in calm moments. Hey, seemed like earlier you were mad, and that's okay. Or in those calm moments, attempt to teach us some self-soothing strategies like deep breathing, help seeking, and body movement. How good this parent, Billy? I mean, I do all that too. No, this is really impressive. No, it's good. I've tried modelling when I'm angry. I'm feeling angry. I'm going to try taking some deep breaths. This would make me very upset and this would make her very upset and she would hit, scream, cry and stop me deep breathing. Oh. Recently, I thought I may have found a way to get through. When her younger sister 3 was feeling mad and bit down on a hard toy, I stopped the biting, told her it's okay to be mad, but you can't bite, and suggested we stomp our feet instead. My youngest went along with all these steps, then asked for a cuddle afterwards. I told her it's okay to be angry and turned to my eldest and said, we all get angry, don't we? She responded nonchalantly, not me. I was humbled. Wow. Lately, the meltdowns are less frequent, but more worryingly, she seems to be withdrawing instead of exploding when she's having big feelings. This concerns me so much more. My question is, how do I help her understand it's okay to be angry? What is the best approach when she is angry? Should I keep trying to name it or back off pushing that? I don't want to distress her, but I also want her to feel comfortable with her angry feelings. Thanks for reading a long question.
What do you think? Keep going with the naming it? Name it, tame it?
No, it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
She's tried everything. You got any tricks? No, I think, hell of a lot of self-reflection. That second one she tried with the 3-year-old and then turned. That's as good as you can do. And her own? Isn't that everything? Is it just repeating that? I'm serious.
Yeah, totally. And I agree with you. Amazing parents. That's like great self-reflection, really trying a lot of strengths-based approaches. But yeah, I think a lot of us go like too far kind of downstream of like where we want them to get, and we pitch it in a way they just can't pick up yet. I get the one of like, I just look at one of my kids and they get angry at me when they're struggling and having a meltdown. Don't look at me like that. And I'm like, can't even say anything. You just can't look at them. So that's the sensitivity and responsiveness. And it's just too complex a skill, and it's putting too much attention on the child to be like, I think you're angry and this could be frustrating and it's okay to do this. It's just too much language and talking. So it's all about like just watching the kid in the space and how am I in this space. And so much of like being okay for there not to be talking is a really important skill set that a lot of us struggle with that are really motivated to help our kids. We want to say a lot, we want to do a lot, we want to make it better.
We want to fix it, we want to make it better.
Yeah.
I get that.
But it's how we are and how we feel in ourselves is the best, most important asset in that. And being okay with, I want to say this and I want to give you language and vocabulary around it and validate and all that stuff, but actually it's just making you worse because you're not at that point. I need to just be in the space with you. And that's what I do with my kids. I just be in the space. Evie, like, I try and match her energy as well of being like, you know, just moving with her, responding with her, being in that space with her. And then I'm really like very simple language. I've talked about it a lot over the years. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. And even if she's like hit her brother or something, I can't get to that yet. There's just finding calm and connection, and we still do. She's very similar to she was years ago. I can't go to her. She needs to come to me. I need to keep proximity. I can't put pressure on her to go too quickly, too intensely, too much language, even sometimes looking, and it's too much. She shows me very quickly, and I have to be sensitive to that. This is not what I need from you right now. And so what I've figured out is just being kinder near her. And then it's about she's really sensitive to feeling shame in that. And so I've got to be sensitive to her not feeling that and support her in that. And the lesson will come I'll connect with her and I'll go back out in that room and I'll guide her towards the behaviour she wanted. I'll help her later reflect on what might have happened and all that stuff, but not then.
Okay.
I think so much of the time. I have to say another thing quickly on this one of recently someone amazing was talking to me and being like, my therapist has said, that these moments when my kid is struggling is when I need to practice getting better at providing support. And not to once again be like, change your therapist, but there's a step before that. This is us doing the work outside of our kids in lower levels of dysregulation when we're not also managing someone else's emotions. So often the kid who's like getting upset is quite triggering for us. And to be the Zen master, you don't learn that with a 3-year-old or a 6-year-old who's struggling. You learn that in lower levels of frustration when you've got capacity and you're on your own or you're with another adult that can support you. Just going, I'm really pissed off because this has happened. Connecting with it, validating, and then finding a healthy way to process it. I need to talk to someone about it. I need to go and do something. I need to go through what else is going on that's good. Actually, I don't deserve to be treated like that. Perspective taking, all that stuff. But not with our kids. It's not the time to do it. So if the first step is not working yet of you remaining calm, get really good at that first.
Okay, good one. Question 2, Dr. Billy. I've just finished listening to your episode about anger, and I felt compelled to write because so much of what Billy said hit close to home for me. But in reflecting on myself as a teacher, both in reflecting on myself as a child, teenager, and my current life as a father. As a child, I was mostly a quiet, easygoing kid, but on occasions I would lash out. I almost never hurt other people. It was mostly inanimate objects that copped the brunt of it. I punched walls, the ground, whatever was nearby. I even recall punching myself or biting myself. From what I can tell, it was almost as a punishment when I was upset with myself. As a teenager, and even into my early adulthood, I smashed plenty of tennis rackets and PlayStation controllers. I still have scars on my right hand and a permanently swollen middle knuckle from punching things as a teenager. There was one occasion when I did hurt somebody. I was about 13 or 14 and my mum had woken up from being passed out drunk on the couch and smashed a remote control over my head and said to me, "Imagine being the mother and having a son like you." I lost my temper and I punched her in the face. Immediately I regretted it. It felt horrible. I'm not sharing that to justify what I did or to betray my parents as people who didn't do their best and love me with everything they had. My parents divorced when I was 2. My mum struggled and was a heavy alcoholic, and I learned from a young age that I couldn't really rely on her. My dad was much like me, generally calm and inclined to bottle up his emotions until they occasionally came out. He rarely showed what he was feeling, and when I brought him a problem, I felt as though he wanted to fix it rather than simply listen. What affected me most was hearing Billy describe being constantly alert to potential sources of anger. People ignoring road rules, systems not working as they should, all the other everyday injustices or frustrations that seem to demand attention. Then he spoke about what could be underneath the anger: insecurity, shame, catastrophizing, and how much the anger can be directed inward at who you are as a person and how you can wish you a different or better version of yourself. It made me wonder how much of my own anger has been rooted in insecurity, and whether that insecurity contributed to me walking away from things I loved and was good at. Tennis, football, music. Perhaps it sometimes felt safer to stop than to keep exposing myself to the possibility of failure or discovering what I wasn't who I wanted to be. As an adult, I would say I'm good at controlling my anger, although I'm becoming less certain that controlling is the right word. Most people would probably describe me as calm, capable and understanding. I run a successful business, carry a lot of responsibility, and generally handle pressure well. But I worry that what I call control may sometimes be suppression. I don't allow myself to feel angry. I keep absorbing things, and then, when fear, frustration, and overwhelm accumulate, I can lose control of how I express it. The clearest example happened when my youngest son was badly burned by hot tea. It had been knocked off the coffee table by my other son. It had hit his face and shoulder, and he was in some serious pain and required a trip to the hospital. All okay now, some mild scarring on his shoulder, but otherwise he's okay. At the time, however, I was terrified, but the fear came out as a fury directed at my wife and my oldest son. I can still see my 5-year-old shaking in the corner of the toy room because of how loud and aggressive I had become. I would never lay a hand on my family, but that image stays with me because of how much I frightened him. Afterwards, I apologised to both of them about how I behaved. I explained that I was afraid and it was out of line and repaired things within the best I could. I'm proud that I took responsibility, but I also don't want repair to become a substitute for learning how to not reach that point. My biggest concern is that my 2 boys could inherit the same pattern, being calm, capable boys who believe they should contain everything until it bursts out of them. Trying to do things differently. I don't hide every emotion from them. I explain when I've reacted poorly, apologise without making my feelings their fault, and allow them to feel and express their own emotions. Even when those emotions are loud, inconvenient, create an enormous scene, or make me feel frustrated internally. I want them to know that anger is allowed, that they don't need to be ashamed of it or pretend it isn't there. But I also want them to learn much more than I did. Feeling anger and lashing out are not the same thing. One question I do have: how do you tell the difference between frustration and anger? Or is frustration just what we feel before it turns into anger?
Yes. Yes is the answer to that. Frustration is a lower intensity on that spectrum, and it's one that is building in us often. Often we can get frustrated at something and then have a healthy process. But for those of us, and this person rightfully is wary about using control and suppression, not a healthy way of processing it. And it builds up in us, and we lose our tolerance and capacity to handle frustration, and then it can overwhelm us and become uncontrolled anger. And so I'm working on this. Like, I notice the things like, often my biggest source of anger is that me and my kids don't get enough time with Annalise. Like, that her career is so demanding. And I go through waves of that just overwhelming me to just ignore it. But what I'm trying to find is a healthier way to be frustrated by it. Try and understand it, process it, say that's a valid experience that I'm having. And then I think a lot of the time what happens is like either our own inner critic or the voices that are around us are like, it'll be fine, it's normal to be frustrated like that, everyone's experiencing it, you should have realised that. And what you're doing there is accessing a logical, higher functioning cognitive part of your brain that thinks and reasons. Whereas actually that's an emotional experience for me. Even the frustration of seeing litter, it frustrates me. Now, if I just bury it and go ignore it, I'm not giving a healthy process for that.
Does every healthy process involve having to talk about it?
God,
or
no.
can you go and punch a boxing bag?
Oh, yeah, great. I didn't think you meant that. But no, definitely, it's different for everyone else. But yeah, you can have physical outlets. The interesting thing about physicality is the most important thing about all of this is it getting better? I don't care if you've got a purple crystal under your pillow. If you go, I've got a purple crystal under my pillow now and I'm healthier and happier, I have better relationships, I've got better self-esteem, I don't beat myself up. And
As long as it's not an unhealthy release. It's
yeah,
like getting absolutely written off sort of thing.
Exactly. So that's often an unhealthy process for me, is that I self-medicate and I just dissociate, and that's when I'm completely overwhelmed, usually because I've been hypersensitive and picking up all these things that agitate me and not able to focus on anything positive. Once again, it's not about beating myself up and saying be better at focusing on the good stuff. It's about going, I'm actually getting frustrated. Why might that be? Because I've got overwhelmed, I've got too much on my plate, I'm not seeing Annalise enough, I'm not exercising well enough, I'm not sleeping well enough, and all those things. Understanding it and working on those processes and then going, maybe that's why I'm giving myself some grace. I don't think we do that enough. It's this idea of no, we've just got to grit our teeth and go through it.
Cool. Question 3. Dear Nick and Billy, I wanted to start by thanking you both for everything you do on the podcast. It's been an incredible resource for parents and has genuinely transformed how I parent. The latest episode, Anger and Lethal Weapon, couldn't have come at a better time. I have a beautiful, kind and deeply empathetic 7-year-old who has ADHD and dyspraxia. One area that has always been a challenge for us is emotional regulation, or more accurately, emotional dysregulation. With the help of wonderful OT, some great parenting books, and your podcast, we've made enormous progress in supporting him through those emotions. Over the past few months, we've seen a significant increase in anger outbursts, and I feel completely at a loss about how to respond in the moment. His triggers are usually being told no, disagreements with his sister, or us needing to talk about him about something he's done wrong. When he's angry, we can be sworn at, hit, things get thrown, doors are slammed, walls get hit. My approach has been to stay calm and let him know that it's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to hurt people, swear, damage things, etc. He usually responds by telling me he doesn't want to hear it, turning his back and running to his room. I feel that giving him space is what he needs when he's so heightened, but it also means he may become destructive in his own bedroom, and I don't want that to happen either. If I follow him to his room, he tells me to go away. I usually respond by saying, I'm going to sit here with you until you feel better. Sometimes this works, but more often than not, it causes him to remain in an angry state as he thinks I'm staring at him in a grumpy way, or that I'm not looking at him enough. A typical lose-lose situation. It's incredibly hard. I know he hates feeling this way too. Once he's calmed down, which can take 30 or 40 minutes, he comes to me. He will come to me, apologise, hug it out, and we'll talk about what happened and how he's feeling. I'm grateful we're able to reconnect afterwards, but those moments when he's in the middle of it, I just don't know how to handle it. I should also add that this increase in anger has coincided with him starting ADHD medication. Part of me worries that giving him the medication is contributing to his emotional struggle. At the same time, I've been told it has made a positive difference at school and his teachers wanting him to continue down the path and not go backwards. So I'm so conflicted about what to do there. I adore my son. He has the kindest, most empathetic heart, and all I want to do is support and be the best way possible. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can better navigate these moments and help him through without making things worse.
So yeah, I think it is interesting 40 to 60% of kids who have ADHD will also have clinical anxiety, and sometimes the medication can make kids more anxious. So we often talk about like making sure that we're really approaching and treating the anxiety initially first through therapy, and then medication specifically for anxiety as well. It's an interesting thing to make sure that like 80 to 90% of kids with ADHD will benefit from medication. Yes, pills don't teach skills, but it can increase their capacity to pick up positive experiences and learning and all that stuff. But often the dose needs to be right and things like that. So there's a lot of reasons why the medication might just be directly increasing anxiety and it needs to be changed, or it might be that there's something else that's going on. The beautiful thing about the child is signaling and feeling safe to communicate, this is not what I want, and trying to find what they want is really important. I think a lot of the time, like the girl, it's too much pressure even if you're not talking, and trying to just be still, have some proximity and presence in the space, but be doing something as well is a really helpful thing.
Doing something?
Yeah. So I'm just going to sit here and read a book.
Folding clothes.
I'm just going to, fold clothes. I'm here, but I'm taking some heat pressure out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. What?
No, I was not lying. At the time I came over and started cleaning your house.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll just start cleaning.
But why'd you do that?
Everyone, poor Evie'd been stung by a bee and was really upset. And then you were a bit overwhelmed, I think.
Definitely.
And so I was like,
yeah. And I'd gone from frustration for the whole day to then that was the tipping point that overwhelmed me.
Yeah.
And you came into this space and were helping and helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's a really interesting thing about like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that sensitivity and responsiveness. And the responsiveness is changing what we're doing because this isn't working for the kid. And often the first process to go through is let's take pressure out. in how intensely I'm coming to you, how much language I'm using, how close I am to you. And it's not a black and white, I'm either helping you or I'm not. And I think a lot of the time we go, well, if that doesn't work, if you're not going to see that I'm trying to help, I'm out of here. And that's not the right thing either. It's about just staying, easing off, be more gentle, do less, but still be there with them.
Yep.
A lot of people need that. They just need someone to hold
It's
space
the
with them.
presence. Yeah,
And
hold
it's a bit
space.
like what we talk about. Just make sure when you're with them, you're not blocking a doorway, blocking an exit, cornering them in their face, standing over them,
Next to
towering.
them.
Next to them.
Next
Sit
to
down
them.
on the ground next to them. Maybe 5 meters away from them.
Yep.
Like that's often what we do. I often would do that with the kids in childcare that I look after. I'd just be like meters and meters away from them, just sitting down, looking in the same space as them. And sometimes you'd have to pretend you're doing something else. But you're just like, and then, then the heat comes out of them. They get back to like frustration, and then you can go over and connect with them.
Love it. Heineken Billy, relatively late to the game, and I can't believe I have parented so long without finding you. I have 3 daughters and had and after multiple recommendations, The Matrix and Big Feelings was my gateway episode.
Those are really popular ones.
Yeah, Matrix, yeah. I haven't thought.
Morpheus is like you won't need to.
Yeah,
About dodging bullets.
yeah. I haven't thought back to that one, to be honest, in a while.
Yeah.
I should.
I think it's in our top 10.
Most listened. Yeah, actually, yeah. What a film. Great topic too. Hey, Billy. My question is about my 6-year-old daughter. The big emotion she feels that I struggle with most is anger. She's generally a beautifully spirited 6-year-old. She has always been quite independent and outgoing. She's social and confident with her friends and is helpful and kind as a big sister for the most part. She has empathy and compassion, loves to play, seems to be thriving at school. She didn't have any tantrums as a toddler. She had big feelings, but you could generally reason with her if she was in the right mind. Every now and then, she would have a huge exorcist-style meltdown. I'm not sure if I meant to laugh, sorry.
That's a great descriptor.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw that movie.
Yeah.
I was in high school with a
head's
girlfriend.
spinning
I pretended. I suppressed my fear
Oh, no.
to show that I
can't.
was tough. She comes down the stairway backwards.
Yeah, no. Not a chance. I wouldn't watch that. Well done.
Thank you.
Exorcist style meltdown, where she would get stuck in a loop and would be inconsolable but not aggressive, and quite obviously linked to her being tired and overstimulated. Last year or two, she's gotten older. These have been manifesting with more anger and rage. It is definitely still when she's tired, but most obviously when she's not happy with the transition, such as the TV being turned off or when my sister doesn't want to play her game anymore. I want you to focus on the TV turn off one. I'm not kidding you. I want you to don't forget that, Billy. You can see the rage bubbling up in her, and she lets it out by throwing things, usually at me, and then attacking me physically or scratching, hitting, sometimes kicking. I know I'm supposed to notice this early and somehow try to de-escalate, but sometimes it is just like a switch that's been flipped. I also know that I'm supposed to be her safe person and stay calm, validate her feelings, but a lot of the time I feel defeated knowing that what's to come and feeling like I can't stop it. If all the stars align, we can get through it fairly well. If my husband is home, I can get him to take the other girls into another room so I can connect with my 6-year-old, resulting in either an emotional release of tears and letting me cuddle her, or I can get her to laugh and come out of it through play. This is the best case scenario. However, it often happens when I'm home on my own with all 3 girls, and I know my daughter would never hurt her baby sister, but the 4-year-old does get caught in the crossfire and get scared. I know that I need to go towards her when she's having this big feeling, but I also need to keep everyone safe, and I find myself picking up the baby and moving away with the 4-year-old in tow. I don't know how to do both of these things at the same time, hence the feeling of defeat. I guess my actual question is, where I would like some practical help is, how do I still go towards my 6-year-old and help support her through feelings whilst also keeping my other girls and myself safe from her physical harm? I'm sure this is a long game, but I would love to know how to teach her to understand and feel her anger safely. 3 kids.
Tell me about it.
I can't.
But this actually is me.
Yeah, it would
this
be.
This happens a lot, and because of what's going on, the pressure in our house at the moment, Yvette's frustration tolerance is a lot lower. My frustration tolerance is a lot lower, and there's more frequent meltdowns and escalations, and I am multiple times a day at the moment caught up with having to deal with that exact scenario of Charlie becomes the target, Charlie shuts down, gets fearful, all that stuff. And I have to figure out, how do I be more than one person?
What do you do?
So, firstly, let's go through all the proper stuff.
Check yourself.
Check myself. Yeah, but I'll get more practical than that. But yeah, check myself. And then what do I do?
You go towards the kid that might have been hit.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a fine decision. Yeah. So the binary question is more: do I have the capacity at the moment, or do I just need to survive in this moment?
Gotcha.
Do I just need safety? Because I have to be present. I can't walk away.
Yeah,
I can't just be like, I'm out
small.
here. So I have to stay.
Yep.
So I have to stay, and I'm like, am I just safety? If I'm just safety, I just pick Evie up and walk out of there. I'm just like, I have to be a safety barrier. I have to be like, you can't hit Charlie. You can't throw stuff. You can't break things. And I just pick her up and take her.
Got it.
Even if I do that, what I will try and do as I'm leaving is I will try and connect with Charlie before I leave by looking at him, touching him, connecting with him, just saying, hey. Sometimes it's just that. I just look at him and say, hey. And what I'm trying to show is I've got this. That's not helpful to Evie. She's too dysregulated. But just connecting with Charlie and showing I see you, I feel you, I know you're here and I'm aware of your experience in this. And I've got this. That's what I'm trying to convey, just in a simple, hey. Now, if I have capacity, I stay there. I still hold Evie. I'll often get on the ground and cuddle her. She can lash out, she can do all those things, but she can't hurt herself, she can't hurt someone else.
Yep.
And once again, I'm here. I'm here and I'm holding, and I'm trying the whole time, usually holding Evie in my arms and holding her because it's gotten to the point where she can't have the freedom to keep moving.
Got it.
But I'm not doing it as a restraint to hurt her. I'm doing it to show her that I have the capacity to keep everyone safe in this room. There's a difference, isn't there?
Yes.
Isn't there? Think about it.
Yeah, no.
There's the grab, and there's the grab and I'm taking it into the other room.
No, I did that. Yeah.
Totally, we all do that. But what we're aiming for is the hold.
Yeah.
I've got this. I don't want you to hurt yourself either.
Yeah.
And then often I'm over her shoulder looking at Charlie, touching him, connecting with him. And I'm also saying to him, I'm here. I do this thing as well where I'm like, it's not your fault, Evie. It's not your fault, Charlie. And now Charlie's like, it's your fault, Daddy. So it's fine. Because he's probably right that I've asked too much of them, didn't get in earlier, multitasking, all this other stuff I'm trying to do at the same time. And then they learn the only way Dad's going to come over and be involved is if we start hitting each other and start screaming.
They just learn that, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's the actual work that we're talking about is improving this, is trying to find the capacity to get down on the ground and help these siblings succeed at how they treat each other and interact with each other. Hey, I think Charlie's getting a bit annoyed at that, don't you reckon?
Oh, you can hear it a room away, yeah.
Yeah, and so but you've got to be there and catch them early and then guide them towards healthy behaviours and then specifically immediately reinforce it. Yeah. Like we've talked about that heaps. But I do think you can hold. Takes heaps of practice. Do you know where I learn a lot of it? The trampoline. I'm on the trampoline with them. So lying down and they're wrestling and having fun and then one of them accidentally hurts the other one and the other one gets really annoyed. And I validate, connect, hold and then be like, I don't think that was intentional. And then I give them the option. I never force them to say sorry. I give them the option. So I want them to have autonomy in that. I want them to choose because they understand why. Not because we go straight to bed if you don't say sorry. Or you won't get a treat or you'll never see the iPad again or anything. It doesn't teach them anything. Just teach them I'm in charge. And that's authoritarian parenting versus authoritative. We want authoritative. I'm in charge, I hold the space, I help you learn and understand your perspective matters, not I am the law. Bad luck, you don't say sorry, you're in trouble. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But that's honestly, like that's where I do a lot of my best work, is lying on the ground on the tramp. Because it's movement. It's like what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, my kids love all that stuff.
Yep. Sorry, you reminded me of that guy's on the couch playing Monopoly. Yeah, no, you move the piece. Sorry.
Oh, you mean the one where he does the whole day
you love
from
that,
the couch?
The guy you love.
Yeah.
You love
does the whole day from the couch where he's like, let's play doctors and nurses and I'm a patient that's in a coma. You're trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
You go run.
Yeah, you're starting a business and you're both going to go off and figure out how you're going to sell it to me.
No, you roll the dice. Sorry. You've sent me that a couple of times. You love that guy. Yeah. I'm not minimising your advice.
Yes. Yeah, what's the time? Can you just give me a time?
1:22.
Yeah, do you want to come back to the TV? Kim's right.
Oh, yeah, TV.
Yeah, just go. Come back to the TV.
Hey, switching off TVs, just want to come back to that one. What?
Yeah, why is that one that...
Oh, just it's close to home. Switching off the TV can cause a bit of frustration.
Yeah.
But it's not almost like immediate. There's a real cycle.
Okay.
My kids have to turn it off specifically. Who turns it off?
Oh, yeah.
And pause it. Yeah. It's kind of like the banana we talked about earlier. Why?
So, what is the underlying need that's in the kid?
Control?
Yeah, control.
Okay.
And what's below that?
Safety?
Autonomy. Safety, you're right.
Autonomy.
But autonomy as well.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm a big kid. I want to do this. I never say over. I want to show that I can do this. I can be independent.
Yes.
I don't need you. I have a say.
Is that it?
This was my decision.
Right.
I was a part of this.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where can you introduce a level of autonomy into this stuff? If that's what it is, if that's the underlying need.
Oh, where can I?
Yeah.
I'll often just let them do it.
Yeah. So, but you give choice to it. So I'll be like, if it's like, you're going to turn it off or I'm going to turn it off. I do that a lot. And my goal is for them to turn it off.
Hang on.
Because then they can feel good about it.
You say...
If they're like, I don't want to turn the TV off, I want to watch longer, and they start getting upset, I'm like, you're turning it off or I'm turning it off. That's your level of choice. It's not, we'll watch it for another 10 minutes, one more show, any of that stuff.
But isn't that... Really? You do that?
Yep.
Right.
How come why is that?
That's not, I mean...
Because that's a boundary.
Yeah, it's a boundary. Trust me, the TV gets turned off. I'm with you. Like, it's not, oh, sorry, you're not ready. But I do. Like, what I've learned is, because I know my kids, it's like, it's either the end of the episode or it's like, if they're 2 minutes into a 21-minute episode, I'm like, no. Is it 5 minutes going to be enough? And then I come back.
Yeah, great.
I go, is that enough?
Yeah,
and
so
I go
sorry,
10
I'm talking
and I
about
go
you've got
7.
an agreement and then they're like longer.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
This was the agreement. You're turning it off or I'm turning it off.
No. It's just the actual physical turning.
If you're trying to build
off.
their capacity to be even more autonomy than that, when we talk about this is the stopwatches versus timers. Remember we did this
counting
ago?
up, not counting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like I'm turning it off, you're turning it off. That's kind of like, it's going off. I was like, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's because I'm not a permissive parent. So like my vulnerability is being a permissive parent. But the problem is that and this is my trap. My trap is falling into that one. But that's an example of where I'm like, hey, we had a deal, as you say. Agreements.
You're getting my language. It's coming, isn't it?
Agreements for that.
Deals have been broken. It's all, mate, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But
Cool.
I also know the other side of that. I know that the night will go worse if I'm like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just
So
trying
it's
to
not fair
reconcile
on my
that
kids
with...
and me.
I'm trying to reconcile that with, no, you can have another banana.
Great. What's the difference?
This is what I'm trying... That's why I'm like, I'm
what's
surprised.
What's the difference between the banana story? It's two big things.
You're demonstrating it's safe to show anger with the banana.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what's the other
There's
bit.
two things. That was a toddler.
Yeah.
The banana's a toddler.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're talking about an older kid who has the capacity, a deal was made.
Yep.
We're trying to succeed here.
Yeah.
You're getting to do this thing, but these are the parameters and boundaries around it. And you're testing a limit now. Versus you've been really frustrated about this thing because it was unexpected. You wanted to toast a certain way.
Yep.
It wasn't. If you said to the kid, "You cool with diagonal? You cool with triangles?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm cool with triangles," and then they throw the plate across the room because they say, "I wanted squares." I'll validate that experience, but I'm not cutting squares.
Okay.
If it's
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I didn't realise you wanted to peel it. Here's another banana.
Yeah.
Versus, do you want me to peel it or you want to peel it? And they go, you peel it. And then you peel it and give it to them and they throw it in your face. I'm not like, here's a second banana.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Does that make sense? What the difference is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And what do you think? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm on the same train, mate. Like 100%.
Yeah, cool.
Deals have been made.
Yeah.
You can choose.
I think that's when it becomes permissive.
Totally.
And the older you get, the more dangerous it is.
Yeah.
That you're just like, oh, okay.
No, they're really good at
No,
it. But occasionally
we haven't done Zoolander, but you know when he throws the tea in his face? Is it coffee? Or he's like, this is too hot.
Okay. People are probably going to think I'm a muppet for going over that, but I was
No,
like,
it's really helpful, mate. That will be something that's probably really helpful and a really important thing that we are not like, the extreme of permissive-ness. There's a clip that's kicking off. It's got 500,000 views where
one of
all
ours.
these supposed, it's me on Sunrise, but all these supposed experts can tell off watching a parent for 5 seconds what type of person she is.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I'm like, where'd you do your developmental training? Because I want to go there if it only takes 5 seconds of video. All these like hundreds of experts are like, she's what's wrong with the world. I'm like, if she's what's wrong with the world, you've missed a lot of other things. Just having some, anyway, who films kids and then who chips in and says, I know everything about her and I'm going to criticise her. And if you don't have a bad 5 seconds in your life, tell me how you're doing.
I wouldn't. I don't know what a bad 5 seconds looks like. Jeez, I picked a bad day to do an episode on anger.
Have you got a good 5 seconds?
I think when that was a shocker. Hey, not about me. Oh, ripping start. G'day, doctors. Finally writing in. Spurned on by a weird interaction with a pediatrician yesterday. Our firecracker 6-year-old daughter is in the process of being assessed for ADHD and autism. She is super bright and confident, and apart from crying every morning at drop-off with separation anxiety, is a popular, performative, perfect student. However, at home, she's often anxious and angry to the point of being violent. I can see she is trying very hard at school to hold it in, and I probably share her fear that they will see her big emotions sooner or later and get labelled a bad kid, as she has been in the past. Yesterday, in our first consultation, this paediatrician, yes, an older man, told me that 6-year-olds cannot mask and that she must be behaving this way at home due to an emotionally charged home environment. He gave me the impression that I'm making a fuss because she's performing well at school and has a good report card. He gave me an impression that I'm making a fuss because she is performing well at school and has
Pediatrician.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
No.
Kid that young can't mask. Everything's fine. You're worrying over nothing. The kid's he's doing well in maths and English.
Got it. Sorry, that makes sense. It felt wrong, but I waited till afterwards to consult my friends and family in the allied health space, who reassured me this isn't outdated information. This is outdated information. They would love your thoughts on this, Billy. It was so upsetting. We're trying so hard to help her and ourselves out, and now another setback in this lengthy and expensive process. I'd love to share something inspired by your recent anger episode. Last night, I was so sad and exhausted, my daughter screaming and hitting us after a long day. I suggested that we draw our feelings or write swear words, as she loves doing that. She wrote various hate speeches about us, including death wishes. In the past, I wouldn't have shared my big speeches about us, including death wishes. In the past, I wouldn't have shared my big feelings with her, but felt inspired by your episode to model it. So I drew a picture of a sad, crying eye and told her simply that I felt sad. My husband suggested we throw them in the fire, which she loved. It was actually kind of healing, and it calmed us down. whilst showing me that I'm allowed to express uncomfortable emotions around her. I'm still at a loss to express anger in a healthy and safe way around her, especially tricky for women socialised to be people pleasers. Whoa.
How do you feel reading that last bit?
Throwing the pictures in the fire.
And what was written on them?
I liked the eye crying thing. That makes a lot of sense to me, and I think a kid would understand that.
Yeah. The other stuff's a bit full-on, isn't it?
Yep.
It just must be hard for a parent.
Yep.
And just that's a pretty high level to be like, I'll stay in this space.
Yep.
You know? And I get don't know how comfortable you feel sharing your own experience of that, but I've been getting a bit of the like, I hate you, daddy, lately. And it's like often when, you know.
What's it, when does that come about?
So, and often I've been beyond my capacity all day. I'm just gritting my teeth and like trying to survive. And then Annalise is like, I'm going to be held back. Already been here 12 hours. I'm going to be here another 2. I'm like, cool. You're not making dinner, as in you're not going to be here for dinner and all that stuff. And then I just start spiraling, and then Annalise will roll in and they all explode, and then they're like, Mummy's here. They're all upset and crying and saying, I hate your daddy. You know, and it's a really hard thing for me to hold that space, and it really kind of triggers me and upsets me. But I have to understand that they're 3 and 5 and they're children. And that's an expression that they don't actually understand the impact it has on me. And so just giving some grace to that parent that, is being generous enough to share that they're going through that experience with a kid. And the gift I can give them is that, yes, that's very outdated information. It was actually never right that the kid can't mask, because in the 70s, Mary Ainsworth, a phenomenal developmental psychologist, found that kids younger than 1 can mask in the strange situation that they did, reinforcing avoidant and anxious attachment. So that kids were suppressing that they were anxious about a caregiver leaving the room, and that is a form of masking that neurodivergent kids are much more likely to do. It was not okay for me to express my true emotions in this time and space and relationships and environment, and so I won't. I will mask.
That parent is really like prioritised connection. That's tough.
Yeah. So it also doesn't mean it's okay to say you hate me and you don't want me to live, or, doing all that stuff. But whatever is below that is valid.
I was saying more from like, I'm admiring that person, putting themselves in that situation that can't be easy.
Yeah.
But like just wanting to connect.
Yeah. So yes, I think I might know that paediatrician, who it is.
You do?
Who's saying that? I've heard some people that trained a few decades before I did that say masking's not real. But it is.
I just can't imagine a world where it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
I'm trying to think what I'm missing with all of that anyway.
Oh, just that it's, and like it's because there's something you're doing at home. Anyway.
Let's move.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, doctors, your anger episode landed at exactly the right or wrong moment for us. My son is nearly 5. He's clever, funny, highly creative kid. He has been to see a speechy since 2, being treated for suspected childhood apraxia of speech. Apraxia.
Yeah, so the same like the motor function of speech.
Cool. Which was confirmed 6 months ago. He had an explosion of words just after he turned 4, a year into twice weekly speech therapy and nearly daily practice, which continues today. It's been a hard road for us all, and there's still a long way to go, but he can communicate better than ever. We are enormously proud of him, and yet he gets so angry. Meltdowns at home only, never at kindy, and are now daily. The trigger can be almost anything. A meatball falling off his plate at dinner or a Lego creation breaking. Sometimes it's just that when he's been told no, the escalation is instant. No early warning signs. 0 to 100, so there's no window to connect or name a feeling before he's gone. All the standard device assumes an on-ramp that simply doesn't exist for him. Wow. What articulation. Once he's there, He can't hear us, and the episodes are getting longer, more frequent, and more physical. We get him into a different space, away from his younger siblings, stay away from him, say very little, and hold a firm line that he can't hurt us and that our job is to keep everyone safe. We suspect his anger makes a certain sense. Years of not being able to communicate easily and probably a lot of being ignored by peers would take a toll. How do you support regulation in a child whose anger may partly be legacy of not being understood? And what does co-regulation actually look like when he's genuinely no build-up to work with?
Yeah, so definitely great insight. Verbal communication has been difficult chronically for this kid. They're getting so much better at it, which is awesome, but understanding that will still be highly fatiguing compared to a neurotypical kid their age, and it will also be triggering for the kid. That like they'll have a lower threshold for I'm trying to communicate to you and you're not picking it up, and just dysregulating because of that.
Yep.
So understandably, a lot of kids look like they go from 0 to 100, but their internal experience is not like that.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
They're holding or masking sort of thing, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, the frustration's been there for too long.
Like that earlier letter, that guy's like, everyone would say I'm calm, kind, and then I'm not.
Yeah, because they're suppressing, they're not aware of it and all that stuff. And the cool thing about this kid is start with non-verbal awareness, non-verbal communication.
Yeah.
So even in play, what does your body feel like? What's going on for you? Like, what do you notice? You feeling hungry? You know, like feeling agitated, feeling really tense. You move around. I can see you moving heaps. What's going on? It might be excitement. You're like, hey, I've noticed you move when you're excited. I do that too.
Yep.
I actually move when I'm tired. Do you know what I find? I'm frustrated. I'm just feel really heavy and exhausted.
Yeah.
And trying to learn what it is for that kid. And then also thinking about not asking the kid, but what's been going on today?
Yep.
Well, this has happened a lot more this week. What's been happening this week? Sleep's been terrible. There's a new transition. There's a new kid at school. Some social relationships changed. The normal teacher's not there. Something's going on. Dad's been stressed. You know, there's something has changed in your world, and that's the clue that why the frustration tolerance has dropped so much. And it's not just about building your capacity, it's about understanding what's happening in the environment, what can we do about it, and then building the non-verbal stuff. Remembering that we communicate so much more richly than just the words that we say to each other. You know, I can pick up off you how engaged you are, not because you just said, but it's your eye contact, how you're holding gaze, what your body's doing, what your shoulders are doing, how you're holding your lips, like all of that stuff.
Yep.
You know, and I obviously know that because I know you so well, but that's what we want to understand in our kids, and that's where you catch the 0 before it gets to 100. What have we got? One to go?
One more question.
Cool, give it to me.
Cool. Hi, Dr. Billy, Dr. Nick. I don't think my kids, 9-year-old ADHD boy and 6-year-old twin girls, have significant anger issues yet. The problem is my anger and the way I express it. Screaming, shouting, sometimes throwing things. I've even occasionally hit them, and although this is a line I try not to cross, it has shamefully happened. Even last week after listening to the episode, I found myself losing my control multiple times already. On Tuesday night, my girls didn't want to leave sports training, and I needed them to get home for dinner. Getting them in the car was tricky though. I tried hard to stay calm. It became even more difficult during the drive, and they were crying and yelling non-stop. About 5 minutes from home, the relentless screaming and kicking seats and threatening to take seatbelts off, as well as cries of, I'm the worst kid, I should just die. I couldn't contain the pressure anymore. I screamed back. No, actually, I roared at them, primarily in anger. They were terrified. It breaks my heart to know I can let myself get to such a point that my children are so scared of me. It happened again a few nights later, over refusing to get out of the bath. I snapped and started yelling at them, which I know I shouldn't. Like telling them I'm tempted to leave as no one else listens to me anyway. One of the girls was desperately trying to explain herself. She was beside herself in tears trying to explain, but I ignored her. And then for the third time in a week, my son started yelling that this Friday night pajamas weren't in his drawer. I lost it. I had a go at him about how I spent hours doing washing and how ungrateful he is. The poor guy was crying, curled up in the corner of his room. In the moment, I didn't consider that it was Friday night. It had been a long school week, and he'd he just played a hockey match. Last week was a particularly bad week, and I honestly feel like a monster when I think back on it. My husband and I both work full time, and we have no support network. I've engaged professional support through my workplace and seen my GP about perimenopause, as I'm so overwhelmed and ashamed by my own rage. I just can't seem to break out of the cycle. For all my faults, I'm conscious of the value of repair. I always make sure I talk to them later and explain and apologise for the way I acted. My question is, if it keeps happening, as it does in our family, does the offer of apology and repair start losing its meaning or value? Will they just think, whatever, you might be sorry now, but it'll happen again? At their age, they still seem to bounce right back and tell me I'm the best mummy, which makes me feel like such a fraud. I'm worried as they get older, I'll damage our relationship and there won't be any more bouncing back. When will it be too late to fix this? Or has that ship sailed?
What do you think?
I'd like to think it hasn't sailed at all.
No. So there's not like repair doesn't wear out after 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times when you use it. The risk is that you have to things need to be getting better though. And this is not a like, just try harder thing.
Yeah.
It's beyond your capacity to break this cycle. There's practical elements of it, like try and make your life easier, drop the demand, set yourself up so that, there's processes in place and systems, goes back to the healthy habits thing, make your environment work for you better. Just even practical stuff around setting up the systems that will actually serve you better. Not just always having the washing done, but try and make it easier so there aren't all those like landmines around the place that are going to dysregulate the kids and overload your system. Yep. But this is a parent that's just got an overload system too frequently and they're feeling shame because of it. And so this is a parent that needs to seek out professional support. Yep. The GP about perimenopause is great, but connect to a therapist. Yep. I see a therapist. They can be amazing. Mine is amazing. I built my capacity to succeed in my world, not because they tell me to try harder, but they help me understand what's going on and make sense of it. It's a really important thing about this pod. The reason that people hear about me seeing a therapist is that I hope it helps one other person go and do it. And this is a parent that's listening to a parenting podcast. So yeah. Yeah. And this is the hard thing, is that like even in physical discipline, what we know is that it doesn't work, as this parent's talking about. It often just comes from a multi-generational behaviouralist experience that it happened to me, but we don't remember that it was awful. It actually harmed attachment. It makes behaviours worse, makes us feel like crap parents like this parent does. So find the better tools, but you have to have capacity. There's no point in me giving you 10 tools to help this kid because you actually need support. You need self-care, you need self-kindness, you need self-compassion, and you need therapeutic support to help with all these huge feelings you're having that are overwhelming you and making you angry. You're valid to be angry in this situation because you're trying really hard as a parent. You need more support.
That wraps the questions, Dr. Billy Garvey. We are on to the advice.
Okay, so there's just one beautiful bit of advice and then some closing. And I'll do the advice and the first.
I'll do number
closing, but you do two because it's something that was the first for us.
Oh, I haven't read these, to be honest, Billy.
So I'll put context before you read the last closing bit. Here's the advice. Thank you. You absolutely nailed it with this episode, and the movie name of Lethal Weapon absolutely captures just how lethally relatable anger can feel in us and when we see and hear it in our developing children and teens. I'm quite proud of that one, a connection.
Yes.
If anyone wants to send in emails about how good the movie connections are to the topics, there's a wide open space.
And if you haven't listened to Rambo, go back to Rambo. Best one you've done.
I've got some pretty absolute pearls coming.
Really? Okay.
Some that, yeah. Anyway, in the last few years, the reason I hold that is because I don't want you to know. I don't want you to know the topics. You only find out the topic as I'm explaining it to you live.
I don't even know how I got here.
In the last few days, sharing this episode with anyone I can, they immediately relate to it just by the name of it. How you phrase seeing anger as a signal is a message I definitely want to hold on to, and it feels like it helps to take or at least reduce the lethal part out of how I might respond when I'm feeling angry. After writing this letter, I'm going to Stick post-it notes of lethal weapon with a visual picture of a warning light signal in my car and around my home to help this stick. The weapon part is clever too. See, this is why this made the cut. It literally delivers the message you covered in unpacking how anger is a tool of defense and protection when our brains go offline in survival mode and anger floods, hijacking the logical and rational part of our brain. Here are some of the things I've found in my work as a community-based, universally accessible OT, occupational therapist, that can hopefully be helpful in responding to anger when we see it in our little people. For relevance, my work covers antenatal or primary school aged. However, I also use these learnings to guide me as a parent of 3 teenagers. I've chosen 2 elements of a program our service developed called Responsive Relationships, a bite-sized, pace-reflective program that builds in the development of 10 caregiver skills. We're just going to hit 2 of them. Number 1, as in this is the complete message that came through verbatim, as we always do.
Sure.
Number 1, go slow. I work with some amazing and very wise aunties, and their cultural wisdom has been a massive influence on how I show up and how I slow down. With permission from the Miriam Rose Foundation, we share the video Dadari, the quiet stillness inside us, a spiritual practice of deep listening, reflection and connection to country. We use this video to reflect on 2 skills, presence and attentive waiting. I come back to watch this over and over again. The wisdom of the cultural practice and soothing tone is delivered and reminds me of the value of tuning into ourselves first and foremost, not being in a rush, and to listen to the discomfort. In using some of Dr. Miriam's words to wait for our children to grow and the connections we need around us to blossom. So many powerful messages. Number 2, match, not catch the feeling. In this program, we also use some videos of Jenny Cooley talking through her CARLM model. This model, despite its name and what you might think, is actually all about how to keep our own jets cool. To then be responsive, connect and be available to hold space and listen so children can express what they need to. It's about being able to affect match and be a mirror to validate the feeling so that our children feel seen and heard. Easier said than done, especially with how contagious emotions can be. I had to do this just the other day with my learner driver teenage son and his outrage and anger at how many cars were getting in the way of practicing a U-turn manoeuvre. I had to safely match and mirror back the anger he had without actually being swept up in the anger myself. This took a lot of my own ability to first connect and center myself, not easy in the confines of a car with a lethal weapon in the driver's seat. Thankfully, this turned out to be a win this time. Had I jumped straight to suggesting we drive to get something to eat, despite that being where we wanted to get to with a hangry teenager, I know even this helpful suggestion would have landed well in the midst of anger. It misses the connection and validation piece. Thank you for making it to the end of this long read, and I'll sign off with, remember to go slow and load up on grace, compassion and repair. That is needed in providing the heavy lifting of co-regulation and rewiring old templates, as well as supporting all the developing brains around us. Beautiful, eh?
Beautiful one-liner at the end there.
All right, I'll probably get a bit emotional reading this one just because there's something very personal in it that you will know because it's about you and me. And just for context, like we've done our live tour now. We've still got Perth to go, but we've done how many cities?
5.
Yeah. And
6.
Yeah, and Brisbane was one that was really emotional for me. Brisbane's where like the hardest time of my life happened, and I haven't been back there really since we went as a live show.
Sure. I can take over.
No, it's okay. My wife and I attended the Brisbane live show in June.
Nice.
We had a beautiful night seeing you two in the flesh. 2 humans facing life and its challenges just like the rest of us. I want to preface this by saying, Billy, I really hope you don't take this as a failure on your behalf. For me, it was a real and honest moment. When you both first took the stage, it became clear that Billy was having an emotional reaction to being in a city near a hospital that holds many memories of good and challenging times in his life. Billy's normal flow seemed to be caught up in the emotions. It was a tough and real experience for myself, as I could empathise. This was where the wonderful Nick took the reins. It was beautiful. A best friend who really stood up and helped his best mate put one foot ahead of the other on stage in front of an audience and find his flow again. The entire show was lovely, but the realness at the beginning will stay with me. I know you can be tough on yourself, Billy, so I was hesitant to say anything, but I felt it was a beautiful display of real emotions, friendship and support. Never apologise for who you are. We all love you both. Yeah, and I didn't know that was coming when we did that show, but I went through a period of for a very long time I didn't want to live anymore when I was in Brizzy, and it's just I wouldn't have thought I was going to make tomorrow, let alone 15 years later to be coming back. Just where I am with the family, and Lethal Weapon is another fantastic episode, and it really helped frame some of my experiences of dealing with anger. The part that really hit home for myself was when the life stresses start to take hold in my mind. I begin looking for other triggers or subconsciously finding them, becoming quick to display frustration or anger with those I love the most. Your podcast has definitely helped me in the beginning of my journey of self-improvement, and I'm lucky enough to have started therapy and counselling last year, which has been a massive thing for my growth as a parent and a human in general. When I reflect on my childhood, I wouldn't say that I felt unloved. I know my parents loved me and my older sister, but it was perhaps rarely spoken aloud or displayed. I guess my father's idea of love was to work and provide support for his family financially, just not emotionally. I guess this is due to his upbringing and experience as a child. His anger and frustration was easily displayed in the brief periods he wasn't at work or working from home after hours. His role as financial provider and the stress of that seemed all-consuming. I can count on one hand how many times I remember him taking me to my weekend sport as a child. The role was up to my mother or the other neighbourhood mums and dads. I would like to be clear, he was definitely not abusive. I don't recall emotional or physical abuse. Just a man who never had affection and interactions with his family. I guess the positive to come from that has been my own realisation and willingness to break this cycle of one-dimensional emotional displays. Showing love and affection with all my children when they were young was never a challenge, but I still have to make conscious efforts with my adult children. And it's slowly coming more naturally to myself. Anger and frustration definitely seem to rear its ugly head without any conscious effort, unfortunately. Through therapy, I'm learning to recognise the signs and triggers and acknowledge the need to pause and consider my emotions and behaviours moving forward. We really encourage the display of affection and love in our house. A few years ago, our 3 to 4-year-old was sitting at our dining table between myself and my father when he loudly announced, "I love you, Daddy, and I love you, Pop." To which I returned to the sentiment, and my father said, "I really like you too, when you're not yelling." My heart sank as I saw the look of confusion on my beautiful boy's face as he glanced back at me. I could see his little face reacting as he received a response he was not expecting or experienced before. I glanced up to see my wife in the kitchen make eye contact with me in a silent look that communicated, "We'll have to discuss this later." I was sad, but not for myself or the love I've made missed out on as a child, but for a grown man who couldn't be vulnerable with his 3-year-old grandson to express the love I know he had for his grandson. A man who had no problem with displaying his frustration and anger for his family to see and fear, but wasn't able to display or express love for us. It's been a work in progress, but we keep trying to brush off the handshakes and going for a big, long cuddle when I see my father, feeling his uncomfortable pats on the back instead of just holding each other, signing off our conversations with "I love you" more regularly to show him it's safe to say it back. In his retirement, he's watched more of my children's weekend sport than he ever saw of mine, so that's something. I hope one day I feel comfortable enough to talk to him about these things, but I'm not sure how he would take it as an attack or criticism. For the time being, it's more about showing him we love him, and maybe one day I'll get to have that conversation. Thank you both for being beacons of love for us to walk towards on our parenting journey. And this last one's light and beautiful. There's so many amazing ones that I couldn't include for time. This has been such a long episode already, but this is the last one that a dad wrote in and said, "I think my son's going to send you a message as well." Okay. So it's really short, but it's beautiful.
"Hi, doctors. I am 10 years old, emailing from my mum's account with permission. I've been listening a lot to your podcast with when my parents listen, mainly with Dad. I just listened to the anger episode yesterday on the long car drive to my paediatrician appointment. I have physical outbursts and quite a bit of trouble sleeping. Hearing you talk about anger has helped me a lot. It has made me want to try harder and also understand emotions a lot better. I just wanted to say thank you for doing the podcast. I think this has helped my parents understand me when I am mad, which makes it easier for me to calm down. My mum says I'm not old enough to watch Lethal Weapon, but it sounds pretty crazy to me with the cop jumping off the building. That's nice.
Yeah, that's such a cool one. Well, that's it, mate. I hope that was helpful. It was a bit emotional for both of us, but yeah, thanks to everyone who wrote in. Like, I got to find a way to honour all the stuff that doesn't get read out, but it's so all of you hear, all of you feel, all of you, and as we talk about it, just keeps fueling this.
Start doing like Nick Cave, Billy, and do the red right hand files.
Yeah, I'll have to think about something.
No.
Oh yeah, there's literally.
I think he's done over 100,000.
Yeah, sorry, I more mean how many there are over the last nearly 5 years of Pop Culture Parenting.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out.
Maybe I answer them. I don't have a ton of advice. I'll get back to them in a couple of weeks. You're like, no, you're doing fine. I've got nothing to add. Some of these people that wrote in this week, I was like, oh, wow. I can still trying to get better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course I do.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey,
it also gives me a safe space to give myself some grace, because often it's easy to give to someone else.
Yep. You deserve it. Hey, another episode coming up some stage, I'm sure. Got a clue for me, Dr. Billy?
For the movie, I do have a clue.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Pretty simple plot. From A to B and back. That's it. Not as vague as my neck hurts. Whiplash.
I thought did people get that?
No, I got it. I got it. You're just operating at such a high level than the rest of us tonight.
Also think my Lethal Weapon one was pretty good.
What was your Lethal Weapon one again?
You were like, let's do a clue. I was like, I'm getting too old for clues, man. I'm getting too old for this shit.
So good.
He was only 40 years.
I know, my age.
You're not 40.
Yeah. And you'll be here in the Photoshop just to honour your wisdom.
His physique.
His physique. Not his dawning retirement.
Dawning retirement. I wish. I can't wait to be a boomer. Hey, thanks, Dr. Billy Garvey. See you in the next episode.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. I don't want to see anybody else either.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Just use your best judgment. We trust you.
Dr. Billy, I love all of our sponsors, but this is one that I rely heavily on. We're proud to have today's episode sponsored by Victoria Coffee. Billy, hand on heart, I absolutely swear on the first one, the first coffee I could ever recall was Victoria as a label. That's how long they've been around. Since 58, I learnt when we were actually learning and learning with them. Now, the only disappointing thing is I didn't find them earlier. I didn't start drinking coffee until I was 30. But I cannot tackle a single day without a shot of coffee now. And it's the first thing I have. That is my moment.
Totally. There's a really beautiful, self kind of kindness part of it, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing that gets you going in the morning. So I absolutely rely on it. And they're our new sponsors.
And they're a wonderful family business that is genuinely helping us. So it is great that we get to sponsor support of a company, a family business like Victoria.
Yeah, and they've got like heaps of products. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting the family yet, but if they'd like to buy me a coffee, I'd gladly come and meet them. But if you're into ground coffee, if you're into beans, capsules, instant sachets, coffee bags, there's a format that works for all of you. So show some love to Victoria, an Australian family business helping fuel parents' conversations and pop culture parenting for a long, long time.